A seismic event shook the foundations of the Middle East on Saturday, February 28, 2026. Reports emerged that Iran's long-reigning supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, had been killed in a massive, coordinated military operation. The claims originated from the highest levels of government in Washington and Jerusalem. U.S. President Donald Trump declared the 86-year-old leader dead. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared the 86-year-old leader dead. They hailed the operation as a decisive blow against a regime they long considered a primary source of regional instability and global terror. The news sent immediate shockwaves across international markets, across diplomatic circles, across military commands worldwide. However, conflicting reports complicated the picture. The military action that allegedly killed the supreme leader was described by officials as an operation of immense scale and complexity. It was a joint effort, meticulously planned and executed by the United States-Israel. The Pentagon codenamed its part Operation Epic Fury, while Israel called its mission Operation Roaring Lion. The attack involved a formidable combination of air power, missile power, with hundreds of targets struck across multiple Iranian cities. The strikes were launched in the pre-dawn hours of Saturday morning, a time deliberately chosen to maximize impact. Military planners reportedly believed key Iranian officials would be gathered in specific locations at the start of the work week. The operation was not limited to Tehran. Explosions were reported in major centers including Isfahan, Qom, Karaj, Kermanshah. Immediately following the strikes, the public phase of the conflict began not with missiles, but with words. President Donald Trump took to his Truth Social platform to make the explosive announcement. Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead, he wrote in a post that reverberated globally. He framed the killing as long overdue justice for the victims of Iranian-backed actions over several decades. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu echoed this sentiment in a nationally televised address. He stated that the strikes had specifically targeted Khamenei's compound and that there were growing signs that the tyrant is no longer alive. He noted that the supreme leader had not been seen in public since the operation began. In stark opposition to these claims, the Iranian state media apparatus launched a vigorous counter-offensive. Tasnim and Mehr reported Khamenei was alive, well, and in full command. These reports were designed to reassure the Iranian public and project an image of continuity and strength to the outside world. While governments exchanged claims and threats, the reality on the ground in Iran was chaos, fear, and deeply divided reactions. News of Khamenei's potential death sparked spontaneous celebrations in parts of the country. Witnesses reported scenes of joy in pockets of Tehran, Karaj, Isfahan. Unverified videos showed convoys honking, people carrying pictures of protesters killed in earlier demonstrations. For these Iranians, the attack represented a moment of hope, a potential end to decades of repression. But the jubilation stood in grim contrast to widespread devastation. The most horrific report came from Mainab, Hormozgan. An Israeli strike reportedly hit the Shajareh Tayyeba Girls' Elementary School. Iran's Mizan news agency said the attack killed 108 people, most of them young students. Victims were said to be between 7 and 12. Celebration was silenced by grief and anger. If the reports of Ayatollah Khamenei's death are true, Iran faces its most profound leadership crisis since the 1979 revolution. The supreme leader is not merely a political figurehead, he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He is the ultimate arbiter of state policy. He is the spiritual guide of the nation. Reports say the same operation killed more than 40 other senior officials, effectively decapitating large parts of the ruling establishment. This creates a massive and immediate power vacuum, with no clear and designated successor. The official process lies with an 88-member body known as the Assembly of Experts. That process is designed for a peaceful transition, not for a crisis in the middle of a war. Analysts have speculated about potential successors, including Khamenei's son, Mojtaba, but no one has been publicly groomed. Into this void, several powerful factions will likely move to assert control. Iran's response to the American-Israeli offensive was immediate and forceful, demonstrating capacity and willingness to strike back. Immediate and forceful, Iran showed rapid retaliation, even as state media denied the death of the supreme leader. Its military unleashed a barrage of ballistic missiles. The targets were not confined to Israel. Iran launched retaliatory strikes against U.S. military bases and assets throughout the Middle East, escalating into a direct confrontation. Blasts were reported in Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Iraq. The IRGC claimed it had specifically targeted the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. In response, the U.S. Embassy in Bahrain announced it would close and canceled consular appointments. Iranian officials have historically threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz, threatening commercial shipping. Maritime insurance rates skyrocketed, and oil prices surged. A violent warning that this conflict would be bloody and costly for all involved. The events of February 28, 2026 have pushed the Middle East, and potentially the world, to the brink of a major conflagration. The most immediate danger is escalation into a full-scale, protracted war between Iran and the combined forces of the United States and Israel. It would involve sustained air campaigns, missile campaigns, naval battles in the Persian Gulf, and likely ground incursions. The human cost would be immense, not only for combatant nations, but for civilian populations across the region. A prolonged conflict centered in the Persian Gulf would cripple global energy markets. Iran's threats to close the Strait of Hormuz could halt nearly 1/5 of the world's daily oil consumption. Even without a full closure, attacks and soaring premiums would spike prices dramatically. Pain would ripple to Main Street USA, the factories of Europe, and the growing cities of Asia. International law and diplomacy would be tested as bodies like the UN scramble to de-escalate. In a crisis of this magnitude, the truth itself becomes a casualty. The intense information warfare underscores the immense challenge of verifying facts. For the United States and Israel, confirming Khamenei's death is crucial to declaring the mission a success and encouraging internal dissent. President Trump's immediate and confident declaration aimed to seize control of the story. Conversely, for the Iranian regime, proving that Khamenei is alive is a matter of survival. Social media platforms are flooded with unverified videos, rumors, and disinformation from all sides. Professional news organizations seek multiple sources and independent confirmation before reporting claims as fact. Definitive proof may require a live, date-stamped appearance by Khamenei, or release satellite and signals intelligence proving his demise. Until then, every statement is a potential deception, and every report must be treated with extreme caution. As the world holds its breath, the crisis will likely follow one of three broad paths, each with profoundly different outcomes. The first and most dangerous path is continued escalation toward a full-blown regional war, locking adversaries in a cycle of attack and counterattack. The conflict spreads via proxies. Widespread destruction, a global economic crisis, and immense human suffering with no clear off-ramp. A second path, a fundamental change within Iran itself if Khamenei is indeed dead. A hardline military faction could consolidate power, or popular unrest could overthrow the government and usher in a new era. This outcome is highly uncertain and could descend into a protracted and bloody civil war before any new order emerges. The third path is de-escalation and a fragile negotiated pause under intense international pressure. It would not resolve the underlying conflict but could prevent all-out war. Observers should watch for three key indicators: verifiable proof of Khamenei's status, the scale and nature of Iran's next military moves, the diplomatic efforts of other world powers to contain the crisis,